6,000 men against 20,000. Exhausted, starving, and drenched in mud. They should have died in minutes. Yet what happened on that battlefield would shock Europe forever.
This was Agincourt, where strategy, courage, and the deadliest longbows in Europe turned the impossible into legend. It's 1415. The 100 Years' War has raged for decades, a bitter struggle between England and France for control of the French crown. King Henry V of England leads his army across the Channel, determined to assert his claim. They march into northern France, and after weeks of brutal siege at Harfleur, they emerge victorious. But at a terrible cost. The English soldiers are exhausted, their feet blistered from the endless march, bodies weakened by disease and hunger, morale stretched to the breaking point. Men who once marched proudly now trudge through mud, their armor heavy with rain and sweat. Horses collapse under the strain, carts bog down in the mire, and food is scarce. Every step forward is a struggle, and yet Henry presses on.
We are a band of brothers, for he who sheds his blood with me today shall be my brother.
Knowing the French will not wait. Behind them, the French king has assembled one of the largest armies Europe has ever seen. 20,000 men, nearly all heavily armored knights and elite infantry. Mounted and ready to crush the English with overwhelming force. Their banners wave proudly across the fields, gleaming in the early morning sun. Knights sharpen their swords, mount their horses, and practice deadly charges, confident that victory will be theirs. The stage is set. A weary, under-equipped English army, marching through rain and mud, faces a massive, confident French force. The odds are impossible. Yet history will remember this day not for the size of the armies, but for the courage, strategy, and sheer determination that will turn despair into legend. Henry has just 6,000 men, mostly longbowmen, a few knights, and infantry. The French have everything: numbers, heavy cavalry, and unstoppable confidence. But Henry knows the battlefield, a narrow field flanked by woods, turned into a muddy trap by recent rains.
Position the longbows there, along the tree line. They shall break upon us here.
He positions stakes to stop cavalry and lines of archers on the flanks, ready to unleash a storm of arrows. At dawn, the French charge. Thousands of armored knights thunder across the muddy field, hooves pounding, banners snapping in the wind. The mud sucks at their horses' hooves. Many topple under the weight of plate armor, sending riders crashing into the wet earth. Shouts and screams echo across the battlefield as cavalry and infantry struggle to maintain formation. From the flanks, English longbowmen unleash a relentless storm of arrows. The air is thick with whistling shafts, striking knights, horses, and men alike. The impact throws soldiers off balance, shatters shields, and sends panic rippling through the French ranks. Horses stumble, fall, and thrash, creating chaos among those behind them. English archers, steady and disciplined, reload with terrifying speed, volley after volley raining down like deadly rain. Mud and blood mix beneath the soldiers' feet as the ground turns into a quagmire. The French, once confident and imposing, now stagger and collide in disorganized waves.
Help me! I'm slipping in the mud!
Armor dents, spears shatter, and the thunder of charging cavalry turns to a cacophony of groans, cries, and metal clashing.
Stuck! Help me! The horses are down! We can't move!
Despite being heavily outnumbered, the English hold their line. Every arrow, every defensive stake, every well-placed soldier amplifies the advantage of terrain and strategy. The battlefield, narrow and treacherous, favors the smaller army, turning the French strength into a trap from which there is no escape. French lines begin to crumble under a relentless onslaught of mud, arrows, and panic.
Help me, I'm sinking! I can't get this armor off! We're lost. There is no escape.
The once proud cavalry is now mired in the quagmire, horses sinking chest deep in muck, thrashing wildly as armored knights are flung to the ground. Spears and swords clatter as men struggle to regain footing, only to stumble into the chaos around them. Infantrymen, packed tightly together, find themselves trapped between falling comrades and the relentless tide of English longbows. Each arrow pierces armor or flesh, sowing confusion, fear, and disorder. Screams of agony echo across the battlefield, mingling with the groans of collapsing horses and the clash of steel.
We're sinking! Hold the line! Move! Move! We can't move! The horse is down! Get this armor off me!
Henry V's soldiers advance methodically, exploiting every weakness. Where French morale falters, Englishmen strike with precision, spears, swords, and axes tearing through lines already shaken by mud and exhaustion. Cavalry, once the ultimate weapon of the battlefield, becomes a liability as the horses stumble and fall, tripping their riders into the melee. What should have been a massacre for the English instead becomes a complete rout for the French. Night after night is struck down, banners topple and flutter in the mud, officers fall, and panic spreads like wildfire. By midday, the field is unrecognizable, a grim mosaic of fallen soldiers, splintered weapons, broken shields, and overturned carts. The English, battered and weary, hold their ground, victorious against impossible odds. The French army lies in chaos, routed and broken, their confidence shattered forever. Against all odds, 6,000 men defeat 20,000. Thousands of French soldiers dead, their cavalry destroyed. The longbow becomes legendary.
Water! Please, water!
Henry V rises as a hero. Agincourt becomes a symbol of strategy, courage, and determination, triumphing over sheer numbers. The victory boosted English morale, reshaped the 100 Years' War, and inspired countless tales of heroism. But it came at a cost. Blood-soaked fields, exhausted men, and the reminder that war favors the clever and the relentless.